Welcome back to the Level Up Leader podcast, where we dive deep into the courageous stories of executives, creative entrepreneurs, and visionary leaders who are transforming industries, not by following the rules, but by rewriting them. Now, today's guest is someone who doesn't just help brands tell stories, she helps them let others tell it for them. This is so freaking cool. So Tracy Phillips is an Emmy-nominated video and visibility expert and the CEO of Testimonial, a company that transforms everyday customer stories into high-converting testimonial videos that recruit, sell, and scale without ever feeling forced. Now, her work with New York Times bestselling authors, she's worked with real estate leaders and Fortune 500s, has made her one of the most trusted names in her field. But it's her laugh and learn style that makes her completely unforgettable. Now, if you've ever wondered how to turn trust into traction, or how to amplify your message without being the loudest one in the room, this conversation is definitely for you. All right, and welcome, Tracy Phillips. It's so good to have you on the Level Up Leader podcast. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, Michael.
So we got to hang out in this little town called Lima, Ohio.
Yes, all good things happen in Lima.
What happens in Lima doesn't stay in Lima, right?
There's some things that should stay in Lima. There was some karaoke that should definitely stay in Lima.
I'm ready for for my comeback tour of karaoke in Lima. So I'm gonna roll it out next year, big time.
Me too, Michael. Me too.
So a little bit about you and all the things that you're a part of, and I loved hearing your keynote at Social Media Week Lima, in which you really kind of laid out the idea of video testimonies and your view of the value of having other people actually do the talking for you, which I thought was brilliant. But before we get into those ideas, one of the things that you call your style, you say it's a laugh and learn style. What's one thing that's made you laugh out loud a little bit lately?
I love this question because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I'm going to go with her. And I am in my 50s, experiencing perimenopause. So the most recent thing is, as many may know, you get hot flashes and other things. And so my daughter walking up the stairs and going, "Oh my God, Mom, your face." And it's so encouraging. And they're so honest at that age. And so yes, I would say on a daily basis, my daughter makes me laugh. And I feel like she definitely has my sense of humor. I like to call what I do edutainment, because I don't like talking at people. I like talking with them. I like bringing them in. I'm a storyteller by nature. And so, I'm going to go with my daughter on that one.
I love that. I'm kind of the same way too. I think having meaningful conversations and not just a talking head coming at you the whole time. That's the way to go. So the idea, the heartbeat really behind the Level Up Leader is that at some point in time, every leader comes to a face-to-face reality that they kind of like have a holy crap moment of like, I have to level up my leadership game. I have to somehow go to the next level. And every person that I've ever had on the podcast has their story. What was the moment that you felt like that you had to level up your leadership?
I think, first of all, just acknowledging that I'm a leader in the first place, right? So I've worked in video for 23 years, and I've always been this kind of like solopreneur type person, but it's really about becoming a leader and acknowledging that I am a leader. Because I didn't really feel like a leader. And so there's a moment where people are talking about, in order to scale, in order to grow, you have to hire. And I was like, hire? I have to lead other people. And I had a mentor who said, you are a leader, whether you have people working under you or not. Your authority, what you do, your experience is all about your leadership. So I think the moment for me to step up was just to actually acknowledge that I am a leader and that I can make an impact that way.
Absolutely. That's a pretty big shift too when you do actually realize and you feel that pressure or even the responsibility or even the impact of going, okay, I think I can actually accomplish a little bit more here. This season looks different than the last one. And how you view yourself in those moments makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And also, I think there's a lot of people pleasing and lifetime of, like, again, I love your like saying nope to things, because as a leader, you have to say no. You absolutely have to say no a lot. And your employees aren't always your friends. And so there's these other things you have to learn how to say, like, well, this is my business. And I'm now kind of a mentor leader. What does that look like? And so it was, putting on a different hat for me, one I wasn't really comfortable with at first, but I'm very comfortable with now.
That's amazing. And did you just flash a nope card?
I did. Let's do it again. Ooh, nope card. Just so you know, I didn't have it here for our interview. It lives on my desk because there's so much power in no. There's a lot of power in no. Yeah.
Well, tell it really quick. Like give like a 15-second story on the story of the nope card.
Well, the story of the nope card is Michael was on stage and he was wrapping up the entire social media week, Lima, and everybody had a nope card underneath their seat, taped there for who knows how long. Right? I was like right under my butt the entire time. But it's such a powerful thing to think about because, I mean, everybody, you need a reminder. We all know that that's true. And I will tell you this week, we've been home a week. I have really implemented that way more, I think, because it's top of mind. And so I leave it here as a reminder that not all things I'm asked to do are going to lead to my goals or what I want to accomplish. And so, so thank you for that.
Oh man, what a privilege. What a privilege. Thank you for sharing the story on your social media as well. Right. That just like meant the world to me too, just to know like that it landed and somehow like my story and my experience in that makes a difference. So all right. So your level up leader tip. The best leaders don't do all the talking, they let others tell the story. Unpack that for me.
So there's a lot behind that, and it's on multiple levels because again, with video testimonials, we'll get into that later. But as a business, you can scream from the top of your lungs how great you are, but that's not really going to make the same impact as your customers telling that story. On another level, a lot of businesses again make themselves the focus, and they're the guide. So very Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey is: I see too many leaders, too many people being me, I, all of that things, but your real success is in the success of whatever it is you're doing, whatever that business is, however you show up as a leader, you helped someone get there, but they did the work. And so I really want people to shine the light on the people who are creating a success for their business. And that's really your customers, your clients.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So tell us about the moment that you realized that customer stories actually had a bigger impact than just a polished pitch.
It was early on and I started in documentaries. And so I had the extreme pleasure of interviewing Alan Devu. And if you don't know who that is, he is a cinematographer for E.T., Empire of the Sun. I don't know how this guy I was in this tiny little studio in Del Mar, California. I don't know whose connection he was, but he was so present and he was so in the moment. And of course, I'm new and I have my list of questions. And I never looked down at the questions because I was so in the moment of having a conversation with him and shining, again, his light. And that's really that moment where I was like, oh, this is important to highlight what he wants to share, not what I want out of this. And my entire business is built on that moment because I realized, again, it's not about me as an interviewer. It's not about me. It was about, this amazing opportunity, but he was so generous and so lovely and so open, but the conversation was going somewhere that certainly was not in my predestined questions. And I loved it. I loved that being in the moment. And I think that's the true thing is when you're telling stories, you have to be in the moment. You can't create those stories. You can try, but I don't think you can really create those stories.
Yeah. I mean, like, have you gotten pretty good of like recognizing like when you have to be like on in the moment and catching that moment?
Yeah. And I think that comes from video production very early on. I say the magic is in the pauses. And, I went from like, PA to camera operator. I hated it like that. And to producer, director. And I would say to my crew, do not stop rolling unless I tell you to stop rolling, because a lot of times being an active listener, which I've really had to work on because I'm also an active talker, it was to sit back and let the moments happen. And so a lot of times when you allow that silence, the next thing that comes out of their mouth is pure gold. And if you're not patient or open to that, and you're just in this, like, I've got to ask the next thing, then you're going to miss the magic of that moment. And so it's been, 23 years of learning that. But now when I'm on with someone, or even like with you, interacting with you in person or here, it's really kind of saying like, what is he saying? And what, like, how can I add to this conversation in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I tell our coaches the exact same thing. The coaches that I coach and whatnot, is that there's brilliance in waiting for the gold.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times, like, we're trained in a society to always be listening so we can talk.
Correct.
Listening so we can have the reply, listening so we have the next best thing to say. But we miss out on the gift. We miss out on the brilliant moment of seeing somebody flourish, and because sometimes we don't have to have something to say.
And you don't have to always fill the space. That's the other thing. And I don't know if this is American and it's me again. I'm a loquacious person. I like to talk, but stepping back and saying, does this really add to the conversation, or do I just need to hear myself talk, or do I need to validate that I'm important, and so I'm going to add to this conversation even though it's not meaningful? And that's taken a lifetime of work, Michael. That is not something I woke up doing when I was a child. Quite the opposite.
So in everything that you do, specifically with video testimonials and how you've taken your really, really cool career and how you kind of shifted it into this one specific lens that you look through, how can people start building this kind of story-based leadership into their brand?
You can start by telling the stories of your customers. So a lot of times people shy away from video testimonials because they're hard to get, or you feel like a nag. I hear that all the time. Well, I feel kind of like a nag. And the thing is, people do want to share their wins and their transformations. So if you're just kind of dipping your toe in that storytelling, you as a coach, you as the leader can be talking about them and lifting them up and telling their story, which is a great way to start. And then for me, of course, shameless plug is, get these stories as video testimonials. Yeah.
So fill me in just a little bit on your process though. Like, so say I'm like somebody that's interested in working with you. How do I integrate you into my world? Like, what does that look like?
I love this conversation because process is such an important thing that people have questions about. And the process is easy. Like, we recognize that most business owners are extremely busy and they want they want these video testimonials, or at least they want what I call profitable video testimonials, but they're hard to collect. They're hard to edit. They're hard to, ask for. And so the process is, when you sign up with us, we do everything. It's 100% done for you. And there's magic in having someone who's a third party interviewing your happy customers and clients, because they'll open up a lot more. But the only two things that our clients have to do when they hire us is we hop on a themes, threads, and transformation call. And this is where, I always say we don't come to an interview with questions. We come with bullet points. And what those themes, threads, and transformations are is we get in the head of your prospective client. What do they need to hear from your current happy clients in order to do that next thing? And so they're really bullet points of, kind of like what makes you different. And again, I don't ask what makes you different. I ask, have you tried something like this before? Which then opens up a conversation rather than they'll be like, yep. And then the question is done. And so that, we identify, it depends. I mean, we've worked with people who have tens of thousands of people in their memberships, which we do a little more vetting. And we have some people who are, successful coaches who maybe have 50 people to choose from. And it's not necessarily the most vocal people, but we have you send out the first ask. We give you a template, you send out the first ask, and then the rest of it is in our world. They book with us. They have all these touch points before they even hop on. You saw in the presentation, from the moment they sign up to the moment they show up for an interview, they feel very supported and like they can't get it wrong. And this is the important thing, because people love you, but they do not love video. And so asking someone to show up on video is a big ask, but doing it in a way where they can be completely supported and they can't get it wrong. We really don't have a lot of trouble getting people signing up. And our show up rate, like for people who actually show up, is 98%.
That's incredible. Yeah. When did you know that you were on to something?
It wasn't me. I'm going to be honest. I wish I could take credit for this, because I was the typical entrepreneur where I was like, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at a lot of things, Michael, but that doesn't always mean you should build a business around it or offer all of them. And so when I first started online, I mean, I did the video production, all of that kind of stuff, but I was really teaching women over 40, because I was over 40 when I started online, how to show up confidently on camera, going live. I had something called Live Video Launchpad, which people keep asking me to bring back to life. And I have to say, nope, because that is not part of my goal, right? So, but because I'm a yeser, I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. And so I was in a mastermind, and I just kind of was like, oh, and I also do these things, because I was working with private clients on video strategy for their launches, right? Typical, by like easy, someone you need to know, like, what kind of video should I be putting out where? And so every once in a while, I would say, we should really get your happy customers and interview them so we can use those on your sales pages and for ads. And I called them amazing video testimonials. Like, that's all. It was like a line item, right? And then I was in a mastermind, and someone was like, wait, what do you do? And I said, this is back in Zoom before we had, high def, and it didn't matter, because the quality of the video was not nearly as important as the quality of the answers and the stories that were coming out of it. And so then I started going like, maybe this is a thing, right? So that was probably about 6 years ago. So I've been doing it ever since I got online, but it wasn't really like Testamagical, which was named by a client of ours. The name of my company is Testamagical. And she was like, it's video testimonials, and they're really good, but they're magical because I keep making money with them over and over again. And I was like, well, who doesn't love that? Like, that's a great thing. And then I said it out loud a couple of times. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of dirty, but we left it because it's memorable. Yeah. It sounds dirty. And some people, I've had people come up and be like, what is the name of your company? And then they're like, and I'm like, yes, I know. I don't let them finish the sentence. I'm like, I am aware. Thank you.
Well, I think I actually respect you a little bit more for not running away from that.
Thanks.
So that's good. So you're in this mastermind, and you kind of, somebody's kind of turns on the blinker and saying, hey, you probably should be doing this.
Yeah.
And what went through your mind? What were you thinking?
I'm a butter. And I've, again, done a lot of work on the but I built all this other stuff. But like, what if other people want this thing? And so it was a process of saying, so what I actually did was I had a fairly big list, and I just kind of threw it out there of like, hey, thinking of offering this. And I got quite a lot of feedback, good feedback from it. And then I started, shockingly, interviewing the people who I had done it for and getting them to say how amazing it's been for their launches or their revenue, or like just hearing the customer stories. A lot of times we'll hear from people, they want it, they know it's good for profit, right? But what they don't expect is to watch these videos and be impacted in an emotional way of like, I've had people who are, I'm even getting a little teary-eyed, who are like hardcore, I don't cry, I'm not emotional, who come back to me and they're like, I literally cried when I watched those. And it's because it's someone sharing how amazing you are and that you've changed their life. So you're feeling something, which is, the crux of why video testimonials work.
Wow. So what makes a great live video interview versus a bad one?
Connection. Well, there's a couple things. There's comfort and support. They need to feel comfortable in their space. They need to feel comfortable. And that we were talking about the process from the moment they sign up to the moment they show up, they feel like they're in good hands. They know that we're going to make them look good, sound good, feel good. The opposite of that is I see a lot of business owners trying to interview themselves, or just having them drop their own video testimonial, which puts a lot of pressure on that person to perform. It's a big ask. And so the bad testimonials are just kind of like, Michael's great. I loved working with Michael. He really helped me. A great video testimonial is, I felt lost and I wasn't sure that my business was going to succeed. And then I found Michael. And then they keep going, right? Like it's a place of information versus emotion. And what makes a great video testimonial is that you can tap into that emotion.
So what is probably one of the biggest, I guess, success stories, or what was a big impact moment that you've had when you've been working with one of your clients?
Oh, there's so many, because again, when someone says like the video testimonials are what made a difference, but I come back to one of our clients, Scalable, who tried everything, and it was so interesting to me because there's such a bigger scope. You know, sometimes I'm working with individual business owners, and they have a fairly big business, and the owner, CEO, co-owner was like, "We have tried everything." And they did. They had tried to have people drop it. They had tried. And so being on with someone who was like, I didn't know there was another way to do this. I wasn't aware. And then to get the feedback from their team who needed these video testimonials. They had really pretty ones. They were professionally done in a studio, but they weren't converting. And they weren't converting because the person in the chair probably didn't feel comfortable enough to share openly. And so now they have what Richard Linder calls a library of relational equity. And I love that word instead of just video testimonial, relational equity. And that's the thing. People are relating to the videos and seeing themselves in that person who has had success and saying, I want that too, which, as you know from my talk, is science and our brain. But that's why it works over text only testimonials, which are great. They're valid, but not nearly as powerful as a video testimony. Yeah.
You mentioned in your talk, but also just in your application too, the idea of that you mentioned that mirror neurons and the science behind testimonial videos. So talk about the psychological perspective just for a minute, nerd out with us.
There's a few of them too. And really, like, if I'm looking at a video testimonial and it's for some sort of tennis shoe or something, someone telling their story, and I don't need that tennis shoe, it's not going to resonate with me, right? Like, that's not like, I'm not the right fit. And that's great. You want that. But when we talk about why video testimonials work, it's because we buy on emotion. We have to feel something in order to do something. And what that is we have these little brain cells called mirror neurons. I am 7 years old and I'm watching a little girl on TV eat strawberry ice cream, and she looks so happy and her family's around. I want strawberry ice cream. I want that too. And those are your mirror neurons. You're seeing someone else have success or happiness, and you want that also. And so that is what's happening when someone's watching a video testimonial and it touches something in them. They're like, I want that. Those are your mirror neurons. Not to mention, there are also psychological triggers when you have a library of, I'll use Richard's word, of relational equity. There's a psychological trigger of like, oh, this works. They've got all these people on video saying it works. They might not even watch the videos, but just seeing a page of video triggers trust. And so we haven't even talked about trust, but trust is the biggest factor in whether someone does business with you. And so it creates trust that if that person has success, I can also have success, and I want that success. And so then it becomes a desire, and we're going to buy on desire. And we'll tell our thinking brain, no matter what, like, yeah, but I want it. Yeah, but it's too much. Yeah, but I want it, right? And generally your emotional brain is going to win out.
That's amazing. So just kind of transitioning into some real talk here. This has obviously turned into a pretty thriving referral-based business.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the biggest hurdle that you're facing like right now today?
So today, I feel like this year has been odd, and I am getting referrals, but they're not as many. And so for me, again, it's kind of stepping out of my comfort zone and saying like, oh, maybe I need to take my business next level and do ads or something, because the biggest gap I have is people don't know that this service exists. They don't even know it's an option. They may know they need video testimonials, or maybe they've tried, but they don't know. And so I love my referrals are great, but I'm kind of moving to a point where I'm like, okay, if I want to keep growing my business and growing my team, I need more consistent leads. So I would say that consistent leads is the thing that we struggle with, because like most business owners, we get into like, oh, we have so many referrals, we're great. And then you're not putting anything out there to get future people coming in. And so it's that wheel of, oh, I just took the stage and I have all these sales calls, and so I'm not going to concentrate on that. So I really work very hard on like, and you still need to keep doing the reps and putting in the work. And yeah, so that is something for me and my team are working on consistently, is like, what do we need to do? Which is we're building out, basically a masterclass, paid masterclass to sales call.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a strategy in place as far as like how you're trying to do that. Where's the current bottleneck in your current lead generation system where you feel like things go to a certain distance, but then all of a sudden you just stops like right in your tracks?
I'm going to say I'm the bottleneck, Michael, as a business owner. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like, I know the things that we need to do. I've been sitting on this masterclass since January, right? Like I really do. I sit there, I have a meditation practice that I do, is like, what is it in me that is not allowing me to put this out in the world? I mean, I'm a confident speaker. I feel really good about my presentation. You saw part of it. I mean, I integrate other things, but so I think the bottleneck is sometimes me having a fear of too much success.
Where does that come from?
Instead of fear of failure, I don't fear failing. I feel like there's something that I fear the success. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean I have to lose from my life in order to get to that level?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. What are you currently doing to address that mindset?
I have a very deep practice that I do every morning. I do meditation. I don't know if I told you this. I also fear losing my balance as I get older. So I do a headstand every morning. I have a whole exercise routine that I do because I think balance is really important. But I also do EFT. I do tapping. So I don't know how familiar you are with that, but it's really good to kind of get the So I do that. And I have, I have coaches and support. I truly believe you have to invest in yourself if you want to grow. And I don't mean grow as a business. I mean, grow as a person, grow as a human. Mm-hmm. Some of the work that I've done, with some of them were clients of mine. I just learned through osmosis of working on their things. But I mean, it has made my family life better. It has made me better. But I think it's the ability to recognize that I'm the bottleneck. And here's the work that I'm doing. Yeah. So again, though, I'm 52. Right. I wish I knew this at 22, 32. In Kundalini, I have one of my clients is a well-known Kundalini instructor, and she says, you really only live until 22, and then you keep making those same patterns over and over and over unless you do something about it. And I was like, oh, that's true. So
that's power. That's good. So I'm going to give you something. You ready?
I'd love it.
Awesome. I would tell you to write this down, but this is going to live forever because
you'll have this. So
we're going to have this, but follow me on this, right? So, what Enneagram are you? Do you know?
I want to say 4, but I don't know.
I'm going to send you over a link to where we're going to find that out. Okay. I'm going to let you take our assessment platform.
I feel like I took it so long ago and then I forgot.
Yeah, and it changes depending on the environments that you're in and the situations that you're in. Okay, but here's the thing: is that you're obviously a driven leader.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, congratulations. Okay, you wake up every morning, and the first thing you do before your alarm goes off, and you immediately do this: you grab your phone before your feet even hit the side of the bed, and you immediately start to look at it, and you start to scroll at all your commitments that you have for the day. You start to think about all the things that you've already assigned your time to. And you start thinking about the checklist. You start thinking about the to-do list. Am I wrong?
In this case, you're wrong because of I leave my phone off until after my meditation. So my feet don't touch the ground until I've said 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then I slide down onto my meditation mat. And so I do all of that before I even look at my phone, because I know it's such a distraction.
Right. Okay. But at some point in your day, you start thinking about, what am I committing my time to?
Oh yeah. And that's immediately after, right? Like immediately after I do my habit, like my things.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of, now the thing that you have going on for you, by the way, is, like the gratitude, manifesting and really centering yourself, taking in some of that private focus time, all that stuff. That's really, really, really good. But still, at the end of the day, like the next thing you go into after you get that focus is you start thinking about strategy. Most leaders who are productive, they do actually think about strategy first.
Yeah.
The leaders that I talk to, we actually start to reverse engineer this a little bit, and we start bumping up mindset, vision, structure, and big capital letters, then strategy.
I like that.
Why is that? So mindset, vision, structure, then strategy. Because check this out. The reason why a lot of times that people end up burning out, or they get insecure, or the reason why they start getting in their head a little bit, is because you start to actually doubt, like, are the things that I'm doing actually giving me the results that I want?
Right.
I don't see the needle moving, and I'm working hard, and I'm thinking about a lot of things. I'm visionary. I feel like I'm a cat chasing lasers, like I'm all over the place, right?
I like that. I like that analogy. Yes.
But it's not about the to-do list. It really is about the to-be list. And so when I talk about that first box, that identity and that mindset box, like you're working on a lot of really, really good mindset practices. But here's what I want to challenge you with.
Okay.
What do you want to be known for? What do you do better than anyone else? How do you want to make people feel? And what is the biggest problem that you solve?
Yeah.
That's in that identity box. And then it directly connects the vision box. The reason why the tactics that a lot of people don't move the needle is because they wake up and they start their day in the strategy box, but it's not connected to vision.
That is definitely me, right? Like, what are the things I need to get done to get here? But it's not thinking about any of the other stuff. It's just a to-do list. Sometimes it's being active over productive too. Like, I was active all day, right? Like, so instead of like, but what did I actually get done to move that needle forward?
100%. And so our fail-proof process involves, like, which, by the way, it's hilarious because I work with a lot of leaders that want to play the humble card with me for the first 90 days. And I'm like going, just get over it. Just acknowledge the fact that you're a badass, that you're great at what you do, that you are really, really special.
That you're a leader.
And that you have to be a good steward of the gift that's already been given to you. So let's zero in on that. And it's like, boom, identity. Who are you? What do you want to be known for? How do you want to make people feel? And what's the biggest problem that you solve? Okay, boom. Vision. 3 years from now, what do you want this thing to look like? Let's reverse engineer that and actually build the structure that actually supports that. Now, here's the thing is that the reason why it's fail proof is because of this, is that if you know who you are and you know what you want to build, and then you know the people that are around you and what they're great at, then it's easier for you to make highly executable decisions.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
It's easier for you to say, hey, we're going to do this, even though you might personally, like, it was hilarious. I was on a coaching call with a client the other day, and I said to him, I said, why haven't you pulled the trigger on this? Yeah. And they said, well, because I know what it takes to get done. But I'm not going to build a vision to something that, like, I feel like is impossible. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's the point of vision. Right. I want your vision to scare me. Yeah. I want you to come up with a vision that is so impossible to do on your own, because if you have to do it on your own, it's not vision. It doesn't count, right?
I agree. I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
So the same thing with you, understanding this, is that you have unlocked something that's incredibly special, and I can't wait for people to experience this.
Yeah, thank you.
And your next level is like, okay, great. It's like the strategy, awesome. Let's build the strategy that actually reflects the daring thing that you're going to build of what this thing is going to look like in 5 years.
Yeah.
And let's fearlessly commit to it, because you're awesome.
Yeah. I think this is, Michael, why when you hit that nope card came and I'm like, oh, I feel so seen, right? Because I think part of my circumvention, like to avoiding that, is like saying yes to things, and then I get bogged down with those. And how can I execute on the thing that actually matters if I've said yes to all these other things? It's a distraction. They're distraction.
They are. And I see this all the time. And that's where my heart, like I have this high level of empathy that goes out to leaders, because like I've been in that situation to where I've felt like I was compromising who I was. I got lost in the shuffle. Like I'm a really weird kid when it comes to left brain and right brain, you know? And I want people to win, you know? And there's a process. It's not the same for everybody, but like that thing that I just gave you, mindset, vision, structure, then strategy. We could unpack that for days, but I appreciate you allowing me just to.
I love it. And what's so different about, like, you know, this is I love that you're sharing your brilliance as well, and saying like, here, you've come on with me, but I want to share this with you to think about it, which, you know, for me, I'm all about, you know, giving, and you obviously are as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. I bring people on to this platform because I trust them. And I want them to get exposed to my clients and to my audience, because I promise you this is that after this goes live, you're going to have several people that are going to come to you and they're going to go, hey, yeah, I heard you on this podcast. I want to work with you. So I got two things for you, and then we're going to land the plane on this. But if someone is listening today and wants to implement like one big idea from you, what should they do first?
One big thing for me is allow your customers to do the selling for you. Allow that to be okay. Allow yourself that win of like, you have made such an impact and your customers can do that for you, and it's okay.
I love that. And you did mention that booking a call is the first step.
That is, yeah. Because we talk about timelines and the process and all of those types of things. I mean, I have it. Will you be able to put the link below?
Yeah, well, and go ahead and just tell us, where can people go to connect with you best?
LinkedIn is the best thing. And my ask is always like, come and interact with me on LinkedIn. It's Tracy Phillips on LinkedIn. And because I will interact right back. I am a social being, but you know, you're not going to get a heart and a like from me. I'm going to like really ask you questions and really build it up. But I like to invite people there because I think the conversations are just a little deeper.
I love it. You have a pretty fun giveaway as well. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm referral based, right? And so sometimes if you're listening and you're like, well, it's not me, but I know this company, and just to give them the link and say, this is your name, and I either do a 10% referral fee or we give you a video testimonial. But I also thought it'd be fun to raffle off, you know, you have to say Michael King's name, and then everybody through there, we're gonna raffle off a video testimonial, because a lot of times I think people have to experience it and go, oh, I didn't even know that was possible. Right. And so, yeah, I'd love to raffle off a video testimonial of one of your happy clients.
Dude, let's go. Come on.
I'll put your name in there, Mike. I mean, it's a raffle. So basically anybody that comes to me and says, Michael King, I'm going to have a list, and I'm going to use one of those like internet ones, which I love. Spin the wheel. Yeah. And then from there, I'll reach out and let you know who won. We'll keep this going. It'll be really fun.
All right, let's do it. Come on. All right, so we're going to wrap up. I'm going to give you a fast five. So this is our quick fire round of how we close out the podcast. You ready for this?
Sure.
Okay, so you say the first thing that comes to your mind after I say this statement. So what is a brand that you admire for storytelling?
Nike.
Okay, why?
Because they use the people, not the sneakers. It's not about the product. They make everything they do about the people. And so also I love Phil's book. It's called Shoe Dog, is that right? But it's such a great story, and I just think he thinks people first. Yeah.
Love it. Yep, I'm in. I'm in. All right, a book or podcast that's changed how you lead.
Built to Sell. Also, I love that one because it makes you
John Warlow.
Makes you think into the future. Makes you think beyond where you are right now. Okay.
One thing leaders need to stop doing on video.
My first is to stop avoiding it. Because that's it. It's stop avoiding video. Because even when we talk about video testimonials, they need to be showing up themselves or highlighting their company and talking about how, you know, what they offer. And so I think people avoid video because they think it's hard.
All right. one thing you wish more people understood about your work?
That it exists. Honestly, like I think it almost sells itself. My sales calls aren't sales calls. So it just that remote video testimonials can be really, really powerful, and it exists.
I love that. Okay, best advice that you've ever received.
The best advice I've ever received is to connection and collaboration over competition and comparison.
Come on.
I know. That's like, it sits with me because I am a collaborative person and I want to be. And Michael, I know we're a little over time, but I was in a room when we were speaking for those 2 days. There were at least 4 or 5 other video people there. And I was like, this is great. I get to talk shop, not, now I have to compete for this person. Instead, I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, let's chat. And I've made so many great friends and relationships. And so I really embody the collaboration. I love that. I love people. I love meeting people. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like when I show up, it used to be when I show up to speak at conferences, I would get really, really sometimes intimidated and then likely frustrated when I found out that there's another 20 coaches in the room.
Sure.
I'm like, oh man.
But nobody does what you do.
Yeah, there's room for all of us. And I end up making like my best friends.
Yeah. Because you never know what a coach and a coach, or how can we work together? How can we promote each other? Or like for me, like the video people aren't doing what I'm doing. And so I can send them their way for that and they can send them my way, right? Like it truly is like collaboration and just, getting to know people, liking people.
I love it. I love it. You're a gem. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this.
My pleasure. This was so fun. Love it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much. That was Tracy Phillips. And if you're like me, you're walking away with a whole new perspective on what leadership through amplification really truly looks like. Now, her level up leader tip really hit home with me. It's something that we practice here with our agency, but also with our leadership coaching, is this, that the best leaders don't do all the talking. They let others tell the story. In other words, stop being the hero of your own brand and start making your clients the star. Because when your customers speak, the world listens. And that is how you scale trust. Now, if you're curious about how Tracy and the Testamagical team can help you turn your best customer stories into the most powerful marketing assets, be sure to visit testamagical.com and make sure that you book a call. Now, if this episode inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Please like and follow and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and drop us a review if you're feeling generous. Now, you can also join the conversation inside our Level Up Leader Facebook group. We'd love to hear what story you're telling and who you're letting tell it for you. Until next time, keep leveling up.